never expected my husband, Mike, to become so weird lately. He seems to have realized he's just a tragic supporting character in a novel, and he has completely given up. When the female lead, Emily, asks for his help, he says, "Too much AC makes you sick, meddling too much in others' business can kill you." When the male lead comes looking for him, he says, "Just pretend I'm dead. Everyone dies eventually." But when it comes to divorcing me, this guy is surprisingly stubborn. "Yes, I have changed my mind. I'm done pretending. Cards on the table, I'm not divorcing you." The female lead came to borrow money from my husband again. As soon as I stepped out of our room, I heard my husband's impatient voice. "You come to me every time when you need money. What's wrong? Don't you have your own family to ask money from?" Emily's voice trembled with tears. "This time it's different. Tom got into a fight and hurt someone. They are threatening to take him to jail if we don't pay up the compensation. Even if they took him to the crematorium, it wouldn't be my problem." Before she could finish speaking, Mike interrupted her. "I will lend you money, but first pay back the $280,000 you have already borrowed from me." Hearing this, Emily responded in disbelief. "You are so rich, and you are seriously asking me to pay back just $280,000? Well, if your skin is that thick, I could slap you twice and you probably wouldn't hit back, right?" After that, Emily was silent for a moment. Then I heard the door slam shut. Mike muttered, "Trick me once, fine, but trying to trick me out of my money? How naive." As he turned around, Mike locked eyes with me. The man who had been fierce as a guard dog a second ago suddenly broke into a husky-like grin the moment he saw me. "Honey, I just single-handedly protected our joint assets. Tell me, aren't I amazing?" I was holding our divorce agreement in my hand. The words I wanted to say froze on my lips. After a long pause, I managed to say, "Amazing. I transmigrated into this romance novel last month. My husband Mike is the biggest victim. No, I mean the deeply devoted supporting male character in the story. Everyone calls him Mr. Moneybags. The novel is supposedly a heartwarming, romance story. The male lead Tom is a good-for-nothing troublemaker, while the female lead Emily is a naive, romantic ray of sunshine. In the early parts of the story, the male lead smokes, fights, and rebels in every way possible, while the female lead stays by his side, supporting him no matter what. Eventually, the female lead successfully guides the male lead to reform, becoming a powerful CEO. And my husband? He is the magic money tree in this book. Despite his background as a powerful business tycoon, the author made him hopelessly lovesick second male lead. Whenever the male lead gets into trouble, the female lead comes to him for money. He provides all the money and resources, while the female lead gets all the credit for being the good person. He pines for years, but remains forever the backup choice for the female lead. That's not all. When the male lead starts his business, it's the female lead who begs Mike for seed money to lend support to Tom. Later, when the male lead becomes hugely successful, he turns around and accuses Mike of meddling, developing a grudge against him. The story ends with the male lead taking over Mike's company and assets. After going bankrupt, Mike leaves in despair. Meanwhile, the main couple lives happily ever after, even having triplets in the epilogue. As for me, I'm Mike's contract wife. Years ago, when our sweet, naive female lead Emily realized Mike's feelings for her, she tearfully apologized, saying she only saw him as a brother and wanted to distance herself from him. our devoted backup second male lead, in order to ease her concerns and stay in her life, quickly found me, a contract wife, and married me. Sure enough, Emily believed it and thought Mike no longer had feelings for her, so she resumed her contact with him. When I arrived in this world last month, our contract had just expired. According to the original plot, after the divorce, I take the money and leave Mike, and the story continues without me. After all, I'm just an extra who only appeared in 3 chapters of a novel hundreds of thousands of words long. But I never expected that just as I was preparing for divorce, Mike would become self-aware. He seems to know he's just a tragic supporting character, and he has given up trying to win over the female lead. He stopped lending money to Emily and refused to divorce me. The once cold and distant business tycoon has even started cursing and acting self-destructive. One night as I was about to fall asleep, my bedroom door suddenly opened. Mike stood in the doorway hugging a small pillow, looking pitifully lost. "Honey, I can't sleep." Mike and I always slept in separate beds. I had no idea what had gotten into him this time, so I cautiously replied, "Can't sleep? Why don't you go for a run outside?" Without hesitation, Mike responded, "But I don't want to run outside. I want to run circles in your heart." That line made me completely lose it. Mike completely ignored my speechless expression and climbed onto my bed with his little pillow. I was shocked. "You are not planning to sleep here, are you?" Mike blinked his innocent eyes. "You are not going to kick me out, are you?" "Shouldn't I kick him out? We are fake spouses, for crying out loud." But hearing my words, Mike immediately pulled a small red book, our marriage certificate, from his pajama pocket and flashed it before my eyes. "Who says we are fake? I'm legally yours." Then he lay down beside me and tightly closed his eyes. There, I'm already asleep. While I was completely puzzled about what had caused Mike's dramatic change, I suddenly remembered how he had refused to lend Emily money earlier that day. Wait a minute. Could it be that he doesn't want to pay for my divorce settlement? Is he being stingy? Is that why he's suddenly refusing to divorce me? As a minor character, the original novel didn't waste words describing my interactions with Mike in detail. But after transmigrating, I inherited all the original owner's memories. The original Sarah had been Mike's college classmate. She had always secretly loved the senior brother. So when Mike proposed a fake marriage, Sarah agreed without hesitation. At the time, the naive girl dreamed their pretend relationship would become a real one day. But in the year that followed, all she experienced was emotional neglect, and watching her husband bend over backward for another woman. Although Mike seems to have awakened now, who knows if this is just some new tactic to attract the female lead? After all, who can predict the twisted logic of romance novel authors? Thinking about this, I felt I should finalize our divorce quickly and completely distance myself from all the key characters in the original story. The next day, while I was still looking for an opportunity to end our contract marriage, I encountered Emily again. After coming back from work, I found the girl crouched outside my home. She was curled up, looking utterly pitiful. Hearing footsteps, she spoke tearfully. "Mike, you are finally back." Before finishing, she realized it wasn't him and immediately lowered her voice by 8 degrees. "Oh, why is it you?" Her facial expression changed as quickly as Mike's did. I rolled my eyes. "You are crouching outside my home, and you are asking why it's me? If you are suffering from brain atrophy and can't find your way home, I would be happy to call the police for you. This isn't your home, it's Mike's home. She stood up, like an agitated little beast. Did you say something to Mike to make him refuse to lend me money? He works hard to earn that money. What right do you have to interfere? Talk about blaming others for your own problems. From childhood until now, I have never had someone point fingers at me like this. Oh, so you know the money is earned by your Mike, and has nothing to do with you? With Mike not around, I completely let loose. I wanted to curse you out yesterday but held back. Now you have actively come looking for more? Even a monkey performing circus for money knows to ride a unicycle first, but you just show up with an outstretched hand. What, you think your face is worth more than a monkey's? Young and not working, just thinking about getting handouts without lifting a finger. And Mike this, Mike that. Does your father know you are out here claiming random men as your brothers? Have you counted how many hats you have put on your father's head? You. What you? If you can't even speak clearly, go home and learn how before coming back to beg here. Just then the elevator doors opened and Mike stepped out. Emily looked like she had found her savior, and 2 streams of tears immediately rolled down her cheeks. Mike, you have to stand up for me. I turned my head and met the man's cryptic gaze. I wasn't sure how much of our conversation he had heard. My heart sank a little. The original Sarah had been gentle, shy, and timid. That was the main reason Mike had chosen her as his contract wife years ago. Worried about breaking character, I had been very careful with my words and actions since arriving in this world. Afraid Mike would notice something was off about me. Today I had probably ruined everything. But I quickly calmed down after all. I didn't want to continue this life anyway. Whatever happens, happens. What I never expected was Mike's immediate mockery. Do you think I'm some kind of judge? I'm exhausted from working all day. And now I come home to play mediator for you? How much overtime are you paying me for bossing me around like this? Then he pulled me behind him and asked me softly, Are you okay? Did she bully you? Emily was the one crying, yet he was asking about me. Hearing this, Emily became even more devastated. Mike, she insulted me. What insult? My wife was just stating facts. He then took out his phone. Someone's trying to extort money at my doorstep. And my wife is nearly scared to tears. What are your security guards doing? How do you let just anyone in? Come up here and remove this person immediately. Mike. Mike's face darkened. I'm petty and vindictive. If you harass my family again, don't blame me for being unkind. When we got home, I thought Mike would ask about what had happened, or at least be suspicious about my sudden personality change. But it seems I was overthinking things. Not only did Mike never mention the incident again, but he also became even more attentive toward me. Early the next morning, just as I started work, messages from Mike began flooding in. Honey, why aren't you chatting with me? Do I look illiterate to you? Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. With so many tomorrows, let's save work for tomorrow. When do you get off work? I will come pick you up for a date right now. Let's end your workday here. Is it really okay for a CEO to publicly slack off like this? With Mike's current work attitude, I figured he wouldn't need the male lead's efforts to ruin his company. He could accomplish that all by himself. I flipped my phone face down on the desk, completely ignoring him. The original Sarah was a reporter for a business weekly, and since I studied journalism in college, the profession was a good fit. Just as I opened my computer to start writing, The editor-in-chief brought someone in. Put your current work on hold. Let me introduce our new intern. Looking over, I was surprised to see Emily. Then I remembered that Emily, as the positive ray of sunshine, was a hard-working part worker in the early parts of the story. The novel mentioned that Mike, unable to bear seeing Emily work so hard, had pulled strings to get her placed at a magazine company. Later, Mike also used his connections to help Emily secure exclusive interviews with major business leaders. With Mike's backing, Emily quickly established herself in the industry, rising from errand girl to editor-in-chief of a top industry magazine. But I hadn't known that Emily and the original Sarah worked at the same place. Thinking about it now, Mike was truly despicable. Not only did he arrange for his crush to work at the same company as his wife, but he also gave all the resources to his crush, ignoring his wife. Damn, I want a divorce even more now. True to her female lead status, Emily quickly won everyone over by running errands and buying milk tea for the office, maxing out her likability meter in no time. Originally, I had no intention of acknowledging Emily, but she approached my desk with milk tea in hand. "Sarah, I'm here to apologize." Her voice was just loud enough for the entire office to hear. Someone asked her curiously, "You two know each other?" Before I could speak, Emily nodded. "Sarah's husband is like a brother I grew up with. My good friend was sick recently, and he wanted to lend me money for an emergency, but Sarah found out and scolded me. Then she turned to me. I'm sorry. I was just too anxious that day. My friend was waiting for money for surgery, so Don't worry, I will figure out the money situation myself. I won't bother you or my brother again." What a masterful way to twist the facts and reverse cause and effect. My colleagues' looks toward me immediately changed. One told Emily, "You are so young, how much money could you possibly have? Everyone has emergencies. Some people these days are just too materialistic, quick to take advantage but avoid any trouble. What disease does your friend have? How much more do you need? Let's see if we can help." The original Sarah had been a pushover, often working overtime for colleagues. But they never appreciated her, instead often mocked her behind her back for being foolish. Hearing these barbed comments, I tossed my mouse onto the desk. Her friend suffers from assault and battery, a mental disorder where you beat someone half to death and can't pay compensation. The shortage isn't much, just a few $100,000. My colleagues' faces instantly changed, and no one spoke for a whole minute. I sneered. "Aren't you all living saints? Why so quiet now? When you help her, please make sure to cover the $20,000 hole she scammed from my husband, so I don't have to waste money hiring a lawyer to sue." The entire office instantly fell silent. My phone kept buzzing with messages, all from Mike. "I can carry rice, I can carry flour, but I can't carry how much I miss you." Looking at this one-sided conversation, I finally understand what they mean by silent love. It's okay if you don't respond. My loneliness alone can support both our happiness. Ignoring his cheesy lines, I messaged him directly. "Your dear sister is now reporting at our station. Since we are in a fake marriage with no property disputes and our contract period has expired, let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau soon to finalize the divorce." Almost immediately Mike replied, "I'm busy, no time." Followed by, "I'm off work. Coming to pick you up right now, wait for me." Me looking at these two messages. Do you see the contradiction? On our way home, Mike was like a puppy who had made a mistake, not daring to make a sound. Only after we got inside did he speak. The work situation was truly unexpected. I will call your editor-in-chief right now and get her fired. Don't bother. After we divorce, I will resign too. We are not getting a divorce. Mike suddenly raised his voice, startling me. Why won't you divorce me? Although the contract was written for 1 year, there was a supplementary clause. If either party falls in love with the other, the agreement is automatically void. You were the one who suggested it, don't you remember? Only then did I recall that the original Sarah, harboring fantasies about this marriage, had indeed proposed adding this clause. I was about to argue when I suddenly realized something. Are you saying you have fallen in love with me? Hearing this, Mike actually started acting bashful. Even his ears turned red. Wasn't I obvious enough? I thought hard about Mike's recent behavior. It was indeed quite obvious. But the problem was I never dared to think in that direction. What supporting male character doesn't love the female lead, but falls for a cannon fodder character instead? I was stunned and started pacing in circles. No, this isn't right. You shouldn't be falling for me. Why sudden change of heart? I just like you, okay? My character setting is literally lovesick fool. Why do I need so many reasons to fall in love? As his words fell, we both went silent. Did you just say your character setting is lovesick fool? I carefully caught his verbal slip. Do you know something, Mike? I'm an NPC in a novel world, and you are not the real Sarah. Which part are you asking about? Well, he knows everything. I couldn't speak for a while. When did you find out about this? I haven't known for long, probably since you arrived. Mike scratched his head. Actually, I should thank you. You are the one who told me. I was shocked. Me? When? I don't remember. He coughed lightly. Once when I had a fever, you were sitting beside me. You thought I was unconscious and I heard you call me an idiot. Thinking back, I realized that actually did happen. It was shortly after I arrived. Mike had gone out in a downpour to take Emily to the hospital, then returned with a high fever that left him unconscious all night. Afraid he might die and bring bad luck to the house, I stayed by his side all night taking care of him. I thought he couldn't hear me, so I let out all my pent-up complaints. Who would have thought that he heard everything? So my cover was blown long ago? Then what was the point of my careful pretending all this time? Seeing my complicated expression, Mike pressed his lips together. Your ranting that night woke me up on the spot. After that, I couldn't help but pay attention to your every move. That's when I realized you were very different from the original Sarah. Gradually, I found myself wanting to see you more and more. By the time I realized what was happening, my lovesick fool nature had transferred to you. What? Can this thing be transferred? Seeing that I still wasn't speaking, he grew somewhat exasperated. Anyway, I have said everything I needed to say. We are not getting a divorce. At least give me a chance to pursue you properly. But. No buts. This matter is settled. My ears are clocking out now. La la la. I can't hear you. Whatever you are saying, I can't hear it. I wonder if after becoming self-aware and waking up from the plot, Mike has turned into a complete idiot? In the end, I gave in. After all, Mike is handsome and wealthy. Even in the real world where I came from, there weren't many men like him around me. I'm not heartless. There is absolutely no reason to stop an excellent man from pursuing me. However, I did reserve the right to end this relationship at any time. Honestly, being pursued by someone who is programmed to be lovesick is pretty awesome. Not only do I get rides to and from work, but I also get breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea, perfume, necklaces, and roses. Anything I want, he will deliver it. I finally had to order him to stop to prevent the magazine office from turning into a flower shop. On the surface, everyone envied our loving relationship, but behind my back they said, "We never saw Sarah's husband being so showy before, constantly displaying affection. When a man suddenly becomes attentive, he must have done something wrong. Look at her, still all pleased with herself." Mike's identity was special, and since we were in a contract marriage, my colleagues only knew I was married, but didn't know my husband was a powerful business tycoon. The only person who knew my husband's identity was Emily, but she would never bring it up since it would only make me look good. Hearing the colleagues whispering, Emily came over to them and asked, "Has Sarah's husband never given her gifts before?" "No, not at all. At first, we didn't even know she was married. We only found out about her marriage from her information form." "So he only started showing affection after I arrived?" Emily asked. The colleague paused. "I guess so." Emily's face broke into a sweet smile. "Thank you, I understand now." I was standing behind the door, and overheard their conversation. Emily's expression made my lip twitch. This girl couldn't possibly think Mike's affection toward me was meant to provoke her and attract her attention, could she? But our female lead really was that confident. That day during a staff meeting, the editor-in-chief proposed adding a new section to enhance the magazine's industry influence. The content would mainly revolve around exclusive interviews with business leaders, along with market trend analysis. The problem was that most well-known entrepreneurs had already been interviewed extensively. Writing about them again wouldn't uncover anything new. The first issue would be crucial, directly determining whether this section would continue. While everyone was discussing potential business leaders to feature, I suddenly raised my hand. "Editor, what about Mike Johnson?" The editor's eyes lit up. Then he shook his head. "Mike definitely has the stature, but unfortunately he never accepts interviews. We probably couldn't get him." Emily glanced carefully at me. "What about Sarah? Couldn't she help?" Everyone turned to look at me, confused about why I was suddenly being brought into this. I smiled politely. "Yes, I don't have that kind of influence." Hearing this, Emily's lips quirked upward almost imperceptibly. Then she said, "Well, let me try. Editor, if I can secure an interview with Mike, could I become a permanent staff member?" Before the editor could speak, I laughed lightly. "If getting an interview means becoming permanent staff, then if you fail, will you leave?" The colleagues who had been gossiping behind my back immediately defended Emily. "Sarah, why are you being so harsh? If Emily is saying this, she must have a plan. Why discourage an intern's enthusiasm?" I twirled my pen and smiled. "I was just joking, why so serious? You all have made plenty of jokes at my expense behind my back. Did I take those seriously?" The colleague's face darkened. Before they could explain, I closed my notebook. Everyone tries to get whoever you can, may the best person win. In reality, this interview opportunity wasn't just important to Emily, it was equally important to me. If I remembered correctly, this new column was not only a turning point for Business Weekly magazine, but also a turning point in the female lead's career. In the original story, Emily, just like now, volunteered as an intern during this meeting. Given her special relationship with Mike, she easily secured his interview. Not only that, but Mike personally helped edit her article. With this article, she shot to fame, successfully became a permanent staff member, and later became the head of this column. Business Weekly also became a top industry analysis magazine thanks to this column, and later even launched a series of TV programs. I naturally didn't want to let go of such a good opportunity. However, unlike Emily, Mike wasn't my first choice. I have to say, Emily was very proactive. The meeting ended that day, and by evening, Mike had received Emily's call. At the time, Mike was outside my bedroom door with his little pillow, trying to bargain his way in. "We are legally married. Why won't you let me in? I'm going to file a complaint with the Women's Federation." Filing complaints with the Women's Federation. The nerve of this guy. Ever since he pretended to have insomnia and slept in my bed that night, he has completely torn up our separation agreement. He unilaterally moved himself in every night. I refused. If I remember correctly, you are still in the pursuing me stage. That doesn't conflict with this. I plan to make you fall in love with me over time. This is part of my pursuit. Don't think I can't tell that's a suggestive pun. While we were arguing, Mike's phone rang. When he saw who was calling, his brows immediately furrowed. From his expression, I knew exactly who it was. "You should answer it. Your dear sister made a bold promise to the editor today that she would secure an interview with you. I already said we should get her fired, but you stopped me. Now we have all these problems." Mike grumbled, then suddenly realized. "Interview? What interview?" So I briefly explained what had happened during the day. Mike wasn't happy. "Why did you say you don't have the ability? I will have my secretary schedule a time right now. Come to my company tomorrow, and we will secure this interview." Is that really the point here? That won't be necessary. I hesitated for a moment before saying, "I wasn't planning to interview you." Mike fell silent. Hugging his pillow, he quietly walked out of the room. Mike was angry. The reason was that for this interview, he wasn't my first choice. My chosen subject was named Wilson Chin, an old-school business tycoon. He was among the first wave of entrepreneurs, investing in stocks and promoting the development of the real economy. Now in his 70s, getting an interview with him would be very difficult. But whether for work or personal reasons, I wanted to meet this respected elder. That night, Mike slept separately from me on his own for the first time ever. Although he still drove me to work the next day, he didn't bother me all day, and when he picked me up after work he wore a sulky expression. He made sure I could tell he wasn't happy. I laughed and poked his shoulder. "Weren't you the one who said you don't do interviews?" "That's for other people's interviews." "Are you other people? I was saving my first time especially for you, and you don't even want it." My heart is now so shattered that even a QR code scanner couldn't read it. What is he even talking about? "So, do you have detailed information about Mr. Chen?" I asked. Online resources were limited, and to invite the old gentleman out of retirement, I needed to be thoroughly prepared. Mike's eyes widened. "Not only are you rejecting my interview, but now you want me to help you connect with another man? What do you mean by another man? He's over 70. He's still a man." I used my secret weapon, acting cute. "Hubby." With just that word, Mike, who had been bristling with anger, instantly calmed down. Expressionless, staring straight ahead, he said one word at a time. Say it again. Hubby. Mike's ears turned red again. He has already stepped back from the business world. I can only help you gather as much information as possible. That was all I needed. A few days later, Mike gave me a file with detailed information on Mr. Chen. The old man keeps a low profile. This is all I could find. I treasured the file like gold, but as I was about to walk away with it, Mike pulled me back. Call me hubby and I will give you more good news. I obliged without hesitation. Hubby. Mike's lips curled into a smile. Although the information is incomplete, your husband has pulled some strings and secured an excellent opportunity to have dinner with Mr. Chen. The setting is special, so it's not convenient to bring you along, but I can help deliver some materials. If he's interested, he will contact you. This was like opening the biggest backdoor possible for me. My heart racing, I couldn't help but hug Mike and give him a quick kiss. Mike's eyes darkened. If you want to thank me, that's not enough. I only had one chance, scheduled for the weekend. But even until the day before, I couldn't find a convincing reason for Mr. Chen to agree to my interview. In terms of experience, I had only been in the industry for 3 years. In terms of ability, I hadn't made any outstanding contributions yet. He had rejected Time magazine back in the day, so why would he agree to our magazine? Seeing my worried face, Mike put his arm around me. Worst case, your husband will be your backup plan. Just interview me. What's wrong with me? I'm a handsome young man in my prime. Am I really worse than some aging old man? In terms of status, he actually was. That night, I once again took out the materials Mike had given me and studied them carefully. Suddenly, a name caught my eye. Mr. Chen's grandson, Alex Chen. The name sounded familiar, like I had heard it somewhere before. Then I suddenly covered my mouth. It was him. The very person Tom had beaten up and hospitalized. This incident had left a deep impression on me when I read the novel. It was practically the climax of the first half of the book. The male lead was a street thug who one day beat up a young man who tried to stop a fight. In this kind of situation, Emily would normally borrow money and resolve it. But they didn't expect the victim to have a powerful background. The family didn't want money. They wanted to put Tom behind bars. They wanted to teach the male lead a lesson. Tom was thoroughly frightened and, with Emily's help, hid in her hometown. Later, Emily went to beg Mike for help. It took Mike quite some effort to finally resolve the matter. But as always, when everything was resolved, Mike, who had provided the money and effort, remained nameless, while Emily and Tom's relationship made a qualitative leap. Tom also reformed because of this incident, and began his entrepreneurial journey. Calculating the timeline, it seemed like this was shortly after Tom had assaulted someone. So when Emily came to borrow money from Mike recently, it must have been for this. Initially, they probably thought money could solve everything. I quickly wrote down an address and stuck it on a post-it note at the top of my prepared interview questions. I instructed Mike, "Make sure to tell Mr. Chen that this person must be brought to justice." What heartwarming romance. What prodigal son returning to the right path. The male lead is just a criminal. Such people need to feel the full force of the law, so they know what real justice is. Sure enough, the next day I received a call from the old gentleman himself. "We have caught him. I kept this matter confidential. How did you know?" I was mysterious. Where there is a will, there is a way. Good, that is the persistence of a true journalist. Since you have helped me, I will help you too. The news that I had secured an interview with the business titan exploded like a thunderbolt at the company. The editor-in-chief was so happy he couldn't shut his mouth. This just goes to show the value of our experienced reporters who are steady and responsible. Not like some young colleagues who can't even walk but want to run, making wild promises in serious meetings and becoming a joke. Emily kept her head down, her eyes red. Indeed, forget about the interview, Mike hadn't even answered her calls. She had become a complete joke. But I didn't kick her while she was down. After the meeting ended, as I walked out, Emily cornered me at the door. Don't get too smug. Mike didn't agree to your interview either. He has always loved me. If I hadn't rejected his confession back then, he wouldn't have married you just to create distance between us. Hearing this, I was briefly silent. So she knew everything all along, pretending to be clueless while comfortably enjoying Mike's kindness? I gave Emily a thumbs up. You really are uniquely refreshing in your two-faced behavior, bold, unashamed, and utterly without conscience. Getting Mr. Chun to come out of retirement was largely thanks to Mike's help. He used this to shamelessly ask for a ton of rewards from me. One night, just as I was falling asleep, I was awakened by his phone ringing. I impatiently kicked him. Mike drowsily answered the phone with his eyes closed. Then a woman's crying came through the phone speaker in the quiet night, making me shudder. This is the bar from downtown. Is Ms. Emily your friend? She is drunk and refuses to go home. Just sitting here crying out your name. We are closing soon, so please come pick her up. In the background, Emily could be heard wailing. Mike, have you really abandoned me? Have you really abandoned your little Emily? It was like watching a drama. Mike impatiently said. If someone's lost, call 911. If someone's dying, call 911. I'm sleeping, goodbye. Then he promptly turned off his phone and hugged me, ready to continue sleeping. I poked him. You are really not going? She is a young woman all alone in a bar. What if something happens to her? I have no moral compass. Don't try to guilt trip me. Mike snorted. Besides, if she's unconscious, how does she know to have someone call me? I may be lovesick, but I'm not brainless. I patted Mike's head. Yes, your clever little brain was only good for sending people money. Tom was sentenced to prison. Mr. Chun was the one who told me the news. The male lead would stay behind the bar for 1 year and 2 months. I couldn't believe that the male lead in this novel was really so useless. In the early parts, apart from being good at fighting, he had nothing good going on for him. No wonder Emily had been looking exhausted lately, making mistakes in her work. I have to say, without Mike as her golden finger, Emily had become quite ordinary. Even the sunniest personality can't stay bright once you enter the workplace. Initially, she interviewed several business elites with enthusiasm, but being a novice without expert guidance, her articles were bland and failed to make any waves. In contrast, after interviewing Mr. Chun, my content was insightful and skillful, attracting everyone's attention. With Mr. Chen's name as a reference, several subsequent interview invitations became effortless. Now Mike had to take a number to get on my interview list. To this, Mike responded, I will take a number for your interview, but not for you. A few months later, Emily resigned from the magazine. The day she left, I happened to have an interview and wasn't in the company. When I arrived back at the office, She had already packed her things. Seeing me, her face dejected for so long, strangely broke into a smile. "Sarah, we will see who has the last laugh. She is so weird." I returned to my desk and found my mouse had been moved. Thinking a colleague had accidentally bumped it, I didn't think much of it. But 2 days later, a news story exploded online. Business tycoon's secret marriage exposed, wife points finger at gold-digging woman. The article revealed that while business leader Mike was married, his marriage to Sarah was a contractual arrangement with no love. It not only detailed my personal information, but also claimed I had married Mike solely for many reasons, and to get benefits from the relationship. My recent interviews with industry leaders were presented as compelling evidence. Of course, the final nail in the coffin was a screenshot of a chat message between me and Mick at the end of the news article. Since we are in a fake marriage with no property disputes, and our contract period has expired, let's go to the Civil Affairs Bureau soon to finalize the divorce. From the position of the chat bubble, it was clear the photo had come from my device. I suddenly remembered Emily's parting words from 2 days ago, and my moved mouse. So she had spied on my computer? One stone created 1,000 ripples. Quickly the internet exploded. First drama of the year. My husband is married, and his wife turns out to be a gold digger? What normal person has a contract marriage? Mike must be gay, and they are in a lavender marriage. Damn, look at all her interview subjects, all industry giants. How could she possibly have those connections on her own? The discussions grew louder. And soon hashtag Sarah Networker, hashtag Mike Sarah, and hashtag Mike Contract Marriage all topped the trending charts on social media. But it didn't end there. Emily soon came forward publicly online, accusing me of exploiting her during her internship at the company. In the video, she was in tears. Back then I didn't know Sarah's husband was Mike. In the meeting, she deliberately told me to interview Mike, saying I should get out if I couldn't secure the interview. Her news writing might be terrible, but she was quite skilled at fabricating gossip. Fellow working people immediately sympathized with her story. The comments section was filled with supportive messages for Emily. Hugs to you. I have also experienced workplace bullying where they set impossible goals, and then imply I'm incompetent when I can't achieve them. Just look at her face, she's clearly not a good person. This gold digger using her husband's power needs to get out of journalism. And she's nothing but a networker herself? Has the news industry become this corrupt? Relevant authorities should investigate her. The situation grew increasingly out of control. I was forced to suspend my work. Even Mike's company's stock was affected. Mike cursed in anger. I will get someone to delete those posts right now, then send Emily a legal notice. What garbage. We wouldn't divorce even if she died. Do you trust me? I asked. Looking at the mounting comments, I said, don't do any PR yet. Let this situation ferment a bit more. The greater the impact of the incident, the more satisfying the backfire when the truth comes out, right? A few days later, I went to the company to retrieve the security footage. As an intern, Emily probably didn't know that due to the special nature of our work in journalism, many of the materials we handle involve commercial secrets. Therefore, to prevent unauthorized access, the office not only used key cards but also installed surveillance cameras. Her suspicious behavior at my computer on her last day was recorded in clear detail. Not only that, but I also compiled screenshots of Mike's past transfers to her her later apologies to Mike, her reconciliation attempts, and even her confessions of love to Mike. Yes, confessions. She told Mike she regretted her decision of rejecting him in the past, and wanted to accept his pursuit. I saved all these messages. On the third day of this citywide scandal, I organized all the materials and uploaded them online with a caption. I will forever reserve the right to sue Ms. Emily for invasion of privacy, unfounded defamation, and failure to repay debts. Mike, who had been holding back for days, immediately reposted my post. My wife and I have a great relationship. Our contractual marriage was my promise and protection to her. I wanted to tell her she had the right to love me and the freedom to leave. But whatever her choice, I would wait for her. I'm also attaching the complete screenshot of our conversation that day. I'm the one who loves her so desperately. She will always be my queen. Unexpectedly, Mr. Chun, who rarely went online, registered a new account that same day specifically to repost my statement. I was unaware of her relationship with Mr. Mike. What prompted me to accept Ms. Sarah's interview request was her sense of justice. Revealing the truth is a journalist's most basic quality. After interacting with her, I found Ms. Sarah's views incisive and unique. She has her own insights and perspectives on future market development. Conversing with her was very enjoyable, and I'm also heartened to see today's young people have more ideas than our generation. With Mr. Chun speaking up, many business leaders no longer held back. They reposted to support me, shattering the rumor that I had risen through connections. The tide immediately turned. So it turns out the intern had designs on someone else's husband? How shameless, spreading rumors to sabotage someone's marriage because you couldn't get the man. I don't care about anything else. When is she going to pay back the money? $20,000 plus makes her practically a deadbeat. Am I the only one heartbroken that my husband is such a simp? I can't accept this. In an instant, Emily's reputation was completely ruined. Journalism values factual accuracy above all. After this incident, it became impossible for Emily to enter journalism again. Of course, Mike's reputation as a devoted fool was also cemented. When I returned to work, the colleagues who had gossiped behind my back about my husband cheating all came to greet me. Oh Sarah, you were too low-key before. We had no idea your husband was Mike. Mike is my idol. When I entered this field, I dreamed of interviewing him one day. I'm so envious of you. No need to be envious. I smiled slightly. My husband isn't as great as you think. He's always showing off, constantly trying to please me, making me constantly worried that he has done something wrong. I can't even feel pleased about it anymore. Later, I actually sued Emily and won the case. The court forced her to repay the money she owed me, plus compensation for defaming my reputation. After that, I never saw Emily again. 2 years later, Mike and I held our wedding ceremony. At the wedding, he got drunk and kept talking nonsense when we got home. I spotted you right away. That little mouth of yours rattling away like a machine gun. It shot straight through my heart. When I heard you cursing out Emily, I almost wanted to build a shrine to your mouth and burn 3 incense sticks to it daily. No, that's unnecessary. A few days later, I was shopping at the market when I unexpectedly ran into Emily. She was holding hands with 3 children, dressed sloppily, her figure bloated, nothing like a female lead. The 3 children, about a year old, were crying and making a racket. One had mucus running down his face, apparently having just fallen. His clothes were dirty, and Emily couldn't even clean him up properly. After a moment, a tall man walked over. He was over 6 feet tall and good-looking, but his posture was hunched, and his face showed impatience. "You are so slow. You can't even take care of the children properly." Emily became angry. She let go of the children's hands, put her hands on her hips, and started yelling. "What do you mean, Tom? When I found out I was pregnant with triplets, I wanted to terminate the pregnancy, but you insisted on having them. You said you would take care of all 4 of us. Now look, you got out of prison, and can't even find a job. I can't count on you for the children at all. You have never taken care of them for a single day, and now you have the nerve to blame me." If Emily hadn't called him by name, I would have forgotten there was a male lead in this novel whom I had never met. Looking at him now, he wasn't even that impressive. The current Tom clearly hadn't been healed. Hearing Emily's words, he started cursing. "Did I force you to marry me or beg you to sleep with me? If you look down on me, just say it straight. Don't beat around the bush. Back then you were always begging that rich kid for money, with no shame at all. Now that he has dumped you, you start throwing tantrums at me. Nobody's going to spoil you anymore. Tom, get your facts straight. Who was I borrowing money for?" They argued more and more fiercely. The 3 children cried in unison. Passers-by gave them a wide berth. Just then, Mike came over with a fish in his hand. "What are you looking at?" "Nothing." Mike didn't think much of it, and took my hand. "I will make you boiled fish tonight. This time I have received expert guidance. Your husband is going to show you what it means to reach new heights." I laughed softly and turned to kiss Mike's cheek. "What's wrong?" he asked. I shook my head. "Nothing. I just think some people are dealt a great hand but ruin it through their ill intentions. The female lead has been reduced to an extra. And some people who start as extras can rise to become true queens through their own efforts." Mike squeezed my hand. "You're absolutely right, my queen." The end. Thank you for watching. For more amazing stories, subscribe to our channel. Comment below.